This video is sponsored by Recharge. Hey guys, Chris here. In this video, we are doing the 120 kilometers an hour or 75 miles per hour range test in the Mercedes EQC 400 4MATIC. So today, we're going to find out just how far this car can go on a full charge of battery. And then at the end of the video, we're going to come back to these chargers, connect, and see what kind of charging speed we actually get after a few hours on the road with only passive heating of the battery. That is correct, guys. This test is all about maximum range and the speed you get after a few hours driving on the road, not navigating and not preheating, not preconditioning a battery. With cars that have that, we do that in a different type of test here on the channel. But from what I could find out, this car doesn't actually have active preheating or preconditioning of the battery. Mercedes usually lets you, navigate to a destination and then put a charging point as a waypoint along your route or close to your destination, and then the car will automatically preheat. You get a message on the display. I did that with this car. I navigated to a destination a few kilometers up the road, put this charger in as a charging waypoint, but I got no message. And also when I connected, I didn't get, the maximum peak speed you should get. I also tried looking through the manual, no information about preconditioning or active preheating there. But if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section down below, and also link to a source that actually confirms your claim if this battery actually has active heating of the battery. So with all of that out of the way, we're almost at 95%. So I think we're gonna disconnect, and I'll see you guys on the road. After a week in the Mercedes EQS SUV 580, I'm now spending a week in the EQC 400. And is it a downgrade? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's a downgrade. That EQS SUV is an amazing car, but this is also an awesome car. So it may be a downgrade, but it's not a downer, because this is still a very, very nice and luxurious car at less than half the price. This is a really, really nice car. That Mercedes EQS SUV 580 4MATIC I drove for a week was like more than twice the price of this car. And it's not twice the car, but it's a really, really nice car. But okay, with that out of the way, this is super quiet and comfortable on the motorway. And what I really do like is that the dashboard is so low. Even though the EQS SUV, because it's an SUV and you sit higher up and you have more roof clearance and more space above your head, you can jack up the seat even more, getting that commanding SUV position and sitting position. The dashboard is still a bit high. This is really nice how low it is. But okay, we're now cruising northward on the E6 motorway. According to the wind map, we do have a headwind of about 2 to 3 meters per second. I think you can hear that. And if we take a look to the Mjøsa Lake, you can see that there are some waves on a lake that is usually very, very calm. So yeah, we do have a little bit of wind, but conditions other than that, really nice. Dry roads, but it's cold, -6 degrees Celsius. So the big question is, how much will that affect today's results? And also average consumption thus far, 31.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, but we only been on the road for 17 minutes and yeah, done 32 kilometers. So it's going to be interesting to see what that consumption is once we get to our turnaround point in about an hour, and then also back to our starting point in around 2 hours. So that's just a little bit of an update, guys. I'm going to continue on now, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. This is our halfway point where we're going to turn around. This is the end of the 4-lane motorway for this section on the E6 highway. So we're going to take an exit here right by this Shell station, and then we're going to go underneath the motorway, and then we're going to enter it on the southbound direction. What a beautiful day to do a range test again. And also, we've had a few weeks of winter holiday. I mean, 1 week each, but they divide it between regions in the country, so not everybody has it at the same time, because that hikes up, prices for going on holiday either in Norway or abroad. So that's why they try to spread a little bit. So we had a few weeks of winter holiday now, and now that the winter holiday is done, the roads are so calm and nice to drive on. But okay, talking about roads, let's take a look at the consumption. 29.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So it is a little bit down, but it's still pretty high, almost 30 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So let's hope that now that we're going to head southward, that the consumption will drop, because that headwind on our way up, about 2 to 3 meters per second, should be a tailwind on our way down. But it is really calm outside and also very cold. We've had like minus 8 degrees at the coldest. So we'll see if we really have that strong of a headwind, which will be, a strong tailwind on our way back. And yeah, let's see what the consumption is. So I'll catch up with you guys in about an hour for me and a second for you. Welcome back, guys. For me, as I said, it's been an hour, but for you, it was just a few seconds. But okay, this is our exit. And on this exit, there is another exit to the Esso station, which is right up here. And this road is still covered in thick ice. But okay, we are now back, and let's go ahead and stop the timer. Yeah, I almost forgot. Okay, 1 hour, 54 minutes. And then let's go straight. We don't have to go back to the charters over by McDonald's. We can go to these charters here. Oh no, maybe, yeah, let's see which ones we go to. We'll go to these over here. I mean, this car only takes 110 kilowatts, so we can go to these, but oh my God, really, really full here. Yeah, we can go to one of these chargers right over here. So the charge port on the EQC is on the right side. We have a nice backup camera here. The car's giving us a message that we do have rear traffic crossing or pedestrians. So let's back into this. It's not, I don't think the cars have parked particularly, close to each other, because it's so much ice here that it's hard to see the road markings. But okay, or the park markings. Okay, there we go. So before we do that, let's take a look at the average consumption. 30.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Okay, so the consumption actually didn't drop at all. It's about the same as, when we turned around. That means, yeah, my intuition about the, no wind at all seem to be quite correct. So let's hop out and see what kind of charging speed we get. It's super icy here. My God, this is a bit scary in wintertime here in Norway. So to open the charge port here on the rear right side, you have to turn off the ignition. If you don't, this is locked. And then you pull these so the flap opens, and then let's walk over to the charger. And of course, this video is sponsored by Recharge, proud sponsor of the channel. And these do different loads depending on, depending on the occupancy of the chargers. You can see here, 120 kilowatts is what is vacant, because 1, 2, 3, 4 cars are charging now, because this has to do with, the maximum capacity of, this site. But it's nice. We only need 110 because this car only takes 110 kilowatts. But as I said, this video is sponsored by Recharge, which is one of the largest providers of DC fast charging, charge point operator in the Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And they have more than 4,000 charging points in all of these countries. So proud partner of the channel, make these videos possible, because, I do a lot of these range tests. I drive, these cars 1, 2, 3,000 kilometers the week I have them. And that's a lot of charging, which costs a lot of money. So this is possible with our sponsors. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. 11% state of charge. That's interesting. The car said 12. But the BMS of these cars can be a little bit wonky. But let's see if we get any decent charging speed at this percentage. If we do have decent heat in the battery, we should be getting close to that 100 kilowatts. Also, we have an icon here that says vehicle limits. That's quite interesting. Not sure what that means, but you have a QR code. You can actually scan here. My phone is in the car, so I can't do that now. Then you can, monitor the charging. That's really nice at these Campfire chargers that recharge use at some of these charging stations. You can, go into the station, have a coffee, and just monitor the charging, which is really, really nice. But okay, we're getting almost 90 kilowatts here at 12%. This Audi over here now, he left, so that's nice, gives us more capacity, but still the charger said 120 kilowatts. This currently does 110 at peak speed, so that should be enough. But okay, 101 kilowatts, considering that, the car peaks at 110, it's been -3 and 8 degrees Celsius outside. We've been on the road for a few hours. That is actually quite decent charging speed. Back in the EQC, and you do have a charging screen here in the main driver's display, but from what I know, this only lasts for a few seconds. This will disappear, but it's interesting. The car's only reading 97 kilowatts now, so there is a discrepancy. The climate isn't running. Maybe the speed dropped from 101 to 97 when I went back into the car, but I don't think so, just a few seconds. Okay, so now it disappears. Yeah, you can press this button here on the steering wheel to make this appear, but I think, it will go away after a few seconds. But you can turn on the ignition because, the climate isn't running, and then you lose the screen, which is really annoying. I haven't been able to find the charging speed, and also this car does not have a battery indicator, which is really weird. I had the EQS 580, the SUV, for a week now, and that has, a newer MBUX system with different screens, but still that also had battery percentage readout. And when you turn on the ignition to, run the climate, to run the HVAC, because it is -4 degrees Celsius outside, the car still showed you the charging speed. It was either here or in the central display. I can't remember, but as you can see here, if you go to this button here, which is called EQ in other Mercedes, but it's, a car with a charging icon, you get this screen here. And yes, it is in Norwegian, but you go over to energy flow, and then you do get, that battery percentage readout, which is really nice. You get this graphic here, which is really cool, but you don't get the charging speed. Why don't you get charging speed? So I tried looking through the menus. Again, I tried looking through the manual, but I can't find anything. So let me know if you own an EQC. Is there any way to run the climate and also see the actual charging speed? Because I have to turn off the ignition now. I'll show you guys. Turn off the ignition. There, and then you get that screen. But then the HVAC system is off, and also this does not work when the ignition is off. And then here also, I could not find. So you have phone, okay, phone, navigation, radio, media, comfort. Is this climate? No, this is just only massage and stuff like that. So you don't actually have climate in the screen here. So, I complain about the cars. Oh, maybe you can go here. You can do, no, that's only settings. So sometimes I complain about cars, not having a physical HVAC system, but in this car, it actually doesn't work when the ignition is off. Which is, of course, I understand that, but then you lose the charging screen. So now it's on, the HVAC is running, but we don't have a charging screen. Before we end today's video, let's take a look at the battery pack size, the consumption, and then calculate theoretical range. So this EQC 400 4MATIC has a usable battery capacity, that's the net capacity, of 80 kilowatt hours. We take that number, divided by the consumption, 30.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and then subtract about 3% in heat loss, we get a theoretical range under today's conditions of 257 kilometers, or 160 miles, which, to be honest, isn't great. I mean, we're towards the bottom of the chart. It's okay, but it's not great. That combined, with slowish charging speed, we're going to do a new 10 to 80% charging speed test with this car. I did this test a few years ago with this car, but the last time I did it, it's around 38 minutes, something like that. So kind of poor range in winter and also slow charging means that this car may not be very good at long trips, which we're also going to do a test, a long trip test, or the earlier known as the Norwegian high-speed run. So, I mean, it is completely okay. The conditions today, I mean, it was cold between -3 and -8 degrees Celsius, but the conditions were really nice. Nice weather, no wind, completely dry road. So considering the WLTP rated range of this car, 437 kilometers, we only managed about 58%, which is par for the course for this type of vehicle, but I was just hoping for a little bit lower consumption and maybe closer to 270 or 280 kilometers of range. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.